I'm not Robert Osborne, but this is A Century of Cinema, a presentation we offer at the historic Plaza Theater on the first and third Wednesdays of each month, except December. In 2023, we opened A Century of Cinema to the general public and attracted over 25 first-time presenters. Their presentations were so good, we invited some to join us here. Up next, Major League. Here's Scott Marshall.
If I were to tell you a story about a group of misfits, a washed-up catcher with bad knees, an ex-con, a voodoo doll named Joe Boo, and an outfielder who, in the words of his manager, runs like Mays but hits like who all somehow save a baseball franchise from a greedy, selfish owner who once moonlighted as a Vegas showgirl, you'd probably say, that's the movies, and you'd be right.
But for Clevelanders and for fans of a great underdog story, the 1989 classic Major League isn't just the movies. It's a love letter to a city that, for decades, was the punchline of many jokes, and a reminder that, at least they're not Detroit. Major League was released on April 7, 1989, a few days after baseball's actual opening day that year, a game that featured the debut of Ken Griffey Jr. The movie had a budget of $11 million and went on to debut #1 at the box office, grossing $75 million worldwide, the equivalent of roughly $200 million today. Charlie Sheen, who played Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn, was a talented high school baseball player, having played pitcher and shortstop for Santa Monica High School. Before Sheen's expulsion in high school, he was offered a baseball scholarship to the University of Kansas. Major League featured several actors who would go on to stardom. While Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger had previously starred together in Oliver Stone's Oscar-winning film Platoon, Wesley Snipes and Rene Russo were both relatively unknowns in 1989. After appearing in Michael Jackson's music video Bad, directed by Martin Scorsese, Wesley Snipes turned down a role in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing to appear in Major League as Willie Mays Hayes. Major League served as the debut for several notable actors. Rene Russo went on to great success with numerous blockbusters in the 90s. Dennis Haysbert would become the Allstate spokesperson and portray U.S. President David Palmer on the TV series 24. And Neil Flynn later achieved fame playing the janitor on the comedy TV series Scrubs. To understand why Major League hit so hard, it helps to understand Cleveland in the late 1980s, when the team was very much in a real-life slump. At the time, the Indians hadn't won an AL pennant since 1954, and still haven't won a World Series since 1948. In fact, from 1960 through 1994, the Cleveland Indians had 29 losing seasons. As of today, Cleveland has the longest drought without winning a World Series, 77 years. The city itself was still shaking off the Mistake on the Lake moniker, which sprung up in the late 60s on the heels of the 1969 Cuyahoga River fire. This infamous event is referenced in Major League with the film's opening song, Randy Newman's Burn On. The opening shot of Major League shows one of Cleveland's Guardians of Traffic statues on the Hope Memorial Bridge, which ended up being the inspiration for the franchise's name change in 2022.
To many Clevelanders, the Tribe was a team that always seemed to find a way to lose. The team's extended period of failure made the premise of Major League incredibly relatable to Cleveland fans.
I mean, just last week, I took this photo in my own neighborhood. Ouch. The film leaned into this reality. When the movie's fictional owner says she wants to move the team to Miami because the stadium is falling apart and the fans are non-existent, it wasn't just a plot point. It was a genuine fear for Cleveland sports fans.
Spring training begins in 2 weeks. Here's a list of the players we'll be inviting to camp.
I never heard of half of these guys, and the ones I do know are way past their prime.
Most of these guys never had a prime.
The facts are we lost our two best players to free agency. We haven't won a pennant in over 35 years. We haven't placed higher than 4th in the last 15. Obviously, it's time for some changes.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off, then.
Filming for Major League was largely done in Milwaukee, with all interior scenes of Cleveland's home stadium in the film shot at Milwaukee County Stadium. In the film's climactic playoff game, there were over 20,000 extras used in the stands. Despite the Milwaukee location, the use of many Cleveland landmarks, including the exterior of Cleveland Municipal Stadium, helped to give the film a great hometown feel. Yet the authenticity of Major League is largely thanks to its writer and director. David S. Ward began his career with an Oscar win on the 1973 classic The Sting, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Although further success at this level proved difficult until Ward's work on another Redford film in 1988 convinced the studio to bankroll Major League, a baseball comedy script that Ward had been pitching to producers since 1982. Major League was a labor of love project for David Ward. Despite being born in Rhode Island, Ward grew up in Cleveland a passionate Indians fan, experiencing the team's highs throughout the 1950s. However, like many Cleveland fans, Ward also gave witness to the team's lows during the decades that followed. When speaking about the Indians, Ward said, "I figured the only way they were ever going to win anything in my lifetime was to do a movie and they'd win." Ward's personal connection to the team and city infused the Major League script with a genuine understanding of what it meant to be a Cleveland baseball fan. You see this throughout the film with scenes of everyday fans in Cleveland making comments about the team.
Spring training starts on the 1st. How do you think the Indians will do this year?
It doesn't look too good. These guys don't look too good. Cleveland Indians are
Like Cleveland itself, David Ward would go on to find success again shortly after the release of Major League, with his second Oscar nom for Sleepless in Seattle. Similarly, the Indians would find success again, winning the AL Championship and reaching the World Series, both in 1995 and 97, then again in 2016. In many iconic sports movies, you have a chosen one. The Natural had Roy Hobbs, Rudy had Daniel Rudiger, Rocky, Raging Bull, the list goes on. In Major League, though, the chosen one is the team itself. More similar in ways to a film like Hoosiers, Major League succeeds because it masters the ensemble underdog theme, a team up against one common enemy. The brilliance of this cast lies in the fact that no single person carries the weight of the story. Instead, to start, the film first presents us with a mosaic of flawed characters. The fast-throwing, nearsighted ex-con, the speedster who trades pop-ups for push-ups, the high-priced prima donna, and the big man who uses voodoo to help snap his hitting slump. A manager who's more familiar with rotating tires than a big league pitching staff, the jack-drinking, cynical play-by-play surrogate for the long-suffering fans of Cleveland, and the aging veterans, one of whom is looking for his last shot at glory, and the girl. Individually, all these characters are tropes, flawed, but together, they represent a collective redemption arc. Think about the banter in the locker room or the way the players collectively unite against their owner, who is consistently trying to break this team down. That us against the world mentality only works because we've spent time seeing these players' struggles. When the team finally overcomes, it feels earned because we've seen the collective struggle of the group, and in a sense, the city. Alongside the film's ensemble cast, Major League had its share of professional baseball appearances. Most notably, former catcher and longtime Milwaukee Brewers team broadcaster for over 50 years, Bob Uecker, played the role of Harry Doyle. Most of Harry Doyle's commentary was completely ad-libbed, including the often quoted, "just a bit outside."
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
3 other former major leaguers had roles in the film. World Series MVP catcher Steve Yeager, Cy Young Award winner Pete Vukovich, and Willie Mueller, who played the Duke. This is the guy who, as Harry Doyle says, threw at his own kid during a father-son game. Major League remains influential even 37 years later. Dramatic entrance music for closers grew in popularity in the 90s, heavily influenced by Major League. The popularized concept of theme music for relief pitchers, as seen with Rick Vaughn's entrance to the Troggs' Wild Thing, inspired real-life pitchers like Mitch Williams and then Trevor Hoffman in 1998, who walked out to AC/DC's Hell's Bells. That following year, Yankees great Mariano Rivera began using Metallica's Enter Sandman. Even this season, Dodgers closer Edwin Diaz continued his Timmy Trumpet entrance, and the Padres' Mason Miller used Korn's song Blind, igniting their crowds with a full-scale WWE-style entrance.
Attention, please. Now pitching for the Dodgers, number 3, Edwin Diaz.
Major League gave Cleveland a win before the real team could. It validated the loyalty of fans who had spent years cheering them on. So the next time you feel like the world is against you, remember this 1989 Cleveland team. Put on your Wild Thing glasses, turn up the music, and give them the heater.
Thanks, Scott. Be sure to visit the gorgeously restored Plaza Theater with our 38-foot wide movie screen, 4K laser projection, and a world-class surround sound system. Visit myplazatheater.com for showtimes and events. The historic Plaza Theater is located in beautiful downtown Miamisburg, with unlimited free parking, shops to browse, and fabulous nearby dining options. We hope to see you at the Plaza.